Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the weekly rundown. It is a chilly day out today here in Musha, but it's not too bad. Snow, lots of snow. All you people out in the country must be moving lots of snow. Probably look outside and say, wow, that's like a day and a half work out there. I was talking to someone near here, and he doesn't even know where he can pile up the snow anymore. So that is crazy. And yeah, we've gotten lots of snow. It's interesting this year. Some years here in Musha, you get a huge dump and you had problems moving it around. This year, it's just been a constant snow, which I haven't experienced this in a long time. Where, yes, we've got some fairly substantial dumps of snow, but overall, it's just been a steady stream of, you guessed it, snow. If you'd like to get a hold of me here, you can always use our 1-844 number. That's 1-844-340-5001. We're also on X at Catholic Mashup. Just search that up. There you'll find all the links to everything that we do here. I repost some stuff, but other than that, it's pretty bare there. I do live stream, so I am live streaming right now at Catholic Mashup at X. I was going to do some video stuff or whatever, but it's a little bit more complicated, so I don't know if I'll get around to that. But here we go. Here is the weekly rundown. We start with the sports. Okay, everyone's an Eagles fan, I guess. I don't know. I like last week. I can't. Oh man, I can't. I don't know. I don't know who to cheer for. Obviously, I'm cheering for the Eagles because I don't want the Kansas City Chiefs to three-peat. Yeah, that's the proper word. Anyways. But Eagles, I don't really like the Eagles. So I don't know. I don't know what I want to do. I don't even know if I'm going to watch the Super Bowl this year. Maybe the first time in a long time that I won't even watch it. Although it's streaming on Tubi, so free this year, which is pretty awesome. Okay, so NBA stuff. Okay. Everyone wants to know about it. Luka to the Lakers, AD to the Mavs, a huge blockbuster trade. People say the biggest trade in all of the NBA history. I don't know about that. I think probably. I kind of understand in some ways the Mavs. You're going to have to give Luka like the Supermax. He would be the highest paid NBA player next year and stuff like this when they renegotiated their contract. Yes, they got to the finals last year, but come up short, and they just thought that they couldn't surround a team for them to go all the way. But that being said, Luka, even though I don't like his game, so I think Luka and LeBron for me are kind of in the same box. I understand their greatness. You can make an argument that that LeBron James is the best basketball player that ever played. Sure, I can entertain that conversation. Do I like watching him play? No, not really. I think that's with Luka. Luka's probably the top 5 player. He's definitely better than AD. Do I like his game? No, not really. So I don't know. I don't know why they did this. Luka left a lot because of this trade. Luka's going to lose a lot of money, like a lot. The Lakers this year won't be able to offer him that amount of money. And something that's not talked about enough, I think, is that where he was in the Mavs, so Dallas Mavericks, have zero income tax, like state income tax. And California has like huge, like I'm not exaggerating, I think close to 40% or something like that. So Luka's losing tons. Now, obviously, Luka's a very wealthy guy, and wealthy people usually don't pay taxes. But anyways, I've heard retired NBA players talk about how much money they get gobbled up by taxes when they go to a high tax state like California. So Luka, the person that my heart kind of goes out to in a way is Luka. He didn't know he was getting traded. He's going to lose a bunch of money. But then he's playing with LeBron James and in the Lakers. I don't know. Going on to the T-Wolves, they beat up the Bulls yesterday. Anthony Edwards dropped almost a 50 burger on them. They 49 points. The T-Wolves need to make some moves. They just do. I know Randall is hurt. I don't know if he needs to be on the trading block. There just needs to be a big shakeup there. They're good, but not good enough. They're very inconsistent. When they play well, it is beautiful to watch, but when they play poorly, it's a total train wreck. Total train wreck. Milwaukee Bucks, they beat the Hornets yesterday. They're doing not too bad, but they did make a trade here already for Kuzma. Now I'm a big Kuzma believer. I always liked his game. He's kind of a weird dude, yeah, but Chris Middleton just wasn't producing this year. He was off of injury and stuff like this, and some people would say, well, there should be some loyalty towards him. He's the one that brought him a chip and everything else. Yeah, I agree, but at the end of the day, it's business and basketball, the double Bs. So both of them was not. They're going to shed some. They won't be. They'll be under the second aprons like this with this trade. So that's good, and they should be making some more moves too. So I'm excited for both my teams after the trade deadline, which is today. Hopefully they'll make some moves and move forward in a better way, like just win some games, please. My team lost their first game a couple days ago. We lost by 3 points. It was a heartbreaker. So it's another team here, obviously, St. Mike's. Last time we played them, we shouldn't have won. Full stop. I was pretty upset with my team. We played not a great way or anything else like that. We had some technical fouls, like I had to bench a dude and everything else. So we replayed him again a couple days ago, and we played a really good game. Like no techs, very little fouls and stuff like this, and we lost by 3 points because of coaching. I should have called a timeout. We never scored in the last 5 minutes of the game. We were up at that point, and we just couldn't get in the basket. We didn't get those shots, so it was a coaching failure. Yesterday, we played another team in the league, and we beat them pretty handily, and we played a really good game. So, anyways, we have a tournament this Friday, Saturday. Hopefully we'll do really well in that. I can't make it to the Saturday game if we go that far. So I'm pretty excited about that. My guys should do well. If you're interested, I left the link in the, I was going to say bio, but it's not the bio, but in the chat and stuff like this for our 3 sort of topics of the day. And I encourage you to check them out. We have 3 topics and I think 4 articles. The first topic and stuff like this is that of the Democratic Republic of the Congo. And maybe you haven't, or maybe you have heard about the conflicts that are going on there. It is huge there. And it seems like there's always been conflicts there. And there, I just was listening on the radio. There's somewhat of 100 different rebel groups within that country trying to fight for some sort of control over this very large country in Central Africa. And it seems like since the early, 1990s, it's been in constant conflict. Now, what's really been happening in the last few months is Rwanda-backed rebels have been coming in and causing lots of havoc. And basically because Rwanda is a failed state, really, and Congo has lots of wealth there, like tons. That's why there's so many rebel groups and everything else like this, and there's a huge struggle. Now, there is a plan to, so some people say, well, why can't we divide it up and stuff like this into other countries, because it's pretty big, and there's just lots of conflict, right? But I was listening, and it's not in the articles, but this expert was saying is that there is actually a very strong Congo nationalism there. And it was after the colonization of it, there was this big push to kind of unite everyone. So there is not a big appetite within the country to divide itself. There is a lot of outside forces to divide. Now, why did I put this on here? Yes, it is a super interesting to me, but if that's all was said, I wouldn't think it would be too interesting to a lot of people out there. Although it's probably one of the most horrific and bloody ongoing conflicts in the world right now, full stop, and very little press, which is very sad. The reason why I think you might find it interesting, and I suggest to read the articles and maybe do some Googlings like this, is that the primary religion in the Congo is Catholic. And right now, the bishops are trying to negotiate a unity because the facts on the ground is most of these warring factions are Catholic, except for the Rwandans. That's a whole different thing. But internally, they're all Catholic. It's like this, and so there is this huge push by the National Episcopal Converts of Congo to try to seek solutions of unity, seek solutions of peace. Especially because now the rebels or whatever are attacking hospitals and stuff like this, which is a great concern for not only the country, but for the world, really. And so I encourage you to go and check that out. Read the articles like this. It's an interesting part of African history and the dangers of sort of unchecked power within countries. It's also what's interesting in a lot of these African nations. It is it's something that we take for granted here in Canada or in most of the Western world, is that, let's say, so Trudeau right now, if you don't know, is no longer the Liberal leader. He's still the prime minister, but there will be a leadership race here. We're in the thick of it right now. And then hopefully like a day after a new leader is elected, we need to have a general election. So hopefully the Conservatives get in. Pierre Poilievre, I'm no real big supporter of him, but he's better than what we have right now, marginally, I would say. And once he gets in power, we have this huge bureaucracy like every Western world in Canada. That doesn't change, right? Like Pierre Poilievre won't bring in his relatives or anything else like this to run the post office even. In a lot of these African nations, when there's a change of government, there is a change of all the bureaucracy. Now, in some ways, that's good. Like, I wish we had a little bit more of that. But why is it not good? It's because right away, the day after that leader is elected, everyone is fired. And those people do not want to help the new people coming in. They're not going to train them. So the people that are going in, like, it goes really down to the minute positions like post office or mail, people who deliver the mail and stuff like this. Those are all gone. And then a whole new people that don't know how to do a lot of that is put into place, usually from their family or from where they're from. And this sort of disconnect really causes a lot of unsettled, political stuff that's happening. So in a sense, this bureaucratic government, yes, it does have a lot of downfalls, but one of its strengths is this unity and continuity of running of a government. But anyways, I encourage you to check that out. Second thing is reading. And there is a model of teaching people to read in, like, obviously grade 1 is a very crucial grade. And the reason why I picked this article is I was in a grade 1 class and with a wonderful teacher. It's amazing how just a person from the outside can come into a classroom and just see excellence. Grade 1 must be one of the hardest grades to teach, full stop. And this teacher was just amazing. Was very compassionate, very love, but never got the kids to get away with stuff. She's teaching about a lazy vowel and the double consonants that come after a lazy vowel, which I didn't know. It was amazing. It was so good. And this article basically says is that they need intervention to make sure that kids read. Basically more money in a sense to have this intervention. Now, usually I'm not in favor of just throwing more money at a problem because that usually doesn't work. But what the Alberta solution is to have early intervention of kids that are struggling with reading, to have tests, where they at their reading level. Here's something that I've been really thinking about is that we have this diminishment of reading, just society wide, is that there is no encouragement of reading anymore. I came from a family that my dad encouraged every single one of us to read a lot. Now, I read a lot of nonfiction books. Just recently in my 50s, I've been starting to read a lot of fiction books, but we've always been reading. And so one of the studies I read too is that people are reading just as much or more, but it's mostly on screens. But that is not the same thing. That is by far not the same sort of experience or the same mental practices. First of all, that's very short, sort of almost like junk food for the brain. And another thing is that people now, because there's such a I don't know what it is, but encouraging people to read, that they're encouraging people to read anything. And I don't think that's a good thing either. I think we should be reading good books. Now, granted, my journey of reading fiction has been, popular action books in the 70s and 80s. One of the reasons why I read is because it's entertaining. It's like this. But another reason is those books actually capture, and I'm going to talk about this probably next week when I talk about one of the books or whatever, or maybe I talked about it last week. Anyways, it's a snapshot of what people were thinking at that time, which I'm very curious about, and it's entertaining and kind of fun, right? I'm not saying that all reading needs to be serious, but there has to be some part of that. Anyways, this is a long, very roundabout way of saying is that we shouldn't be encouraging our young people. We shouldn't be encouraging everyone to read, and to have maybe a time a day where you just steady read for, like, let's say 10 minutes or something like this. I think our attention span, even for our adults, is very low. And I think part of that is because we're just not reading anymore, and we're poor readers at that. The last article is somewhat of a funny article out of Scotland. There was a new study in Scotland saying that there is a crisis of nature there, out of basically of animal life in Scotland, and it could be traced directly to, you guessed it, cats, domesticated cats. This is actually a huge issue, not only in Scotland, but in Great Britain, lots of parts of Europe, even in parts of Canada and stuff like this. But it's definitely a UK issue and a European issue, where they find a lot of these native birds particularly, but also some small mammals and things like this, are being totally decimated by cats. And here is the interesting thing. We can see what the problem is. And the response of this study is to ban domesticated cats. Okay. Now, the government, the day that was brought out, went to tell the people that don't worry, you can keep your cats, even though there's a huge destruction of the animal life, huge. The biggest is, so it's not pollution, it is not global warming, it's not any of those other sort of nebulous things. It's not the sun monster that is destroying this animal life in Scotland, but domesticated cats. And people love their pets so much, is that the natural world can just go to the wayside. The natural world can be destroyed because we love our pets so much. I just find the sort of hypocrisy delicious. Right? These are the same people that are probably talking about global warming and how we need to, make sacrifices and everything else, which I do believe. I think that we need to be a better steward of the natural world. I think that we need to be growing gardens and everything else. I've been very consistent on that. And not because we think that the sun monster is going to get us. It's because in the Bible, especially in the Old Testament, it says that we need to be a good steward. We need to take care of the earth, right? So, but here's these people that probably want those rules for everyone. Don't fly or whatever, where they're going to, whatever, the Caribbean to swim with the dolphins or whatever. But even the simplest sort of thing to, curtail the domesticated cat population is a bridge too far. I just find that hilarious, that they love their cats more than they love the natural world. I don't know. Maybe I'm the only one that finds that kind of hilarious and delicious, but anyways, I had to share that with you. Oh yeah, I've been playing lots of games. Actually, probably in my life, this is the most daily games I've ever played, ever, actually. Catherine has been enjoying these two-player games. I just got Blocus, which is kind of a cool, abstract two-player game. Yesterday, we played a new game called, I forget, it's a card game. Anyways, it's like you're a gangster, two-player game. It's a re-implementation of a Japanese game. Tell me you're a nerd without telling me you're a nerd, right there. Anyways, I do want to bring the Duke on the table. It's an abstract strategy game, so it's pretty fun. If you are in the Moose Jaw area and you would like to play some games, please look me up, and we can do something about that. We can play some games. What have I been reading? Well, I haven't read much from this week to last week for Doomsday Warrior number 12, Death American Style. I love that name. Anyways, there's lots of different plot twists and just plot lines or whatever, from everything from a kind of a Muslim sort of rebel group to some Chinese characters coming in. It's like this of war. Anyways, it's kind of interesting. It's kind of that genre where the Russians kind of blow up the world and we're just trying to piece stuff together. I'm reading a new genre of book. It's a Perry Mason book. It's Moth-Eaten Mink. It's pretty good. It's not too bad. I'll give a full review or full thoughts after I read it. If anyone's read a Perry Mason book, please let me know. Are they worth reading? I have no clue. I'll tell you that, actually. What have I been watching? Well, Seraphy and I have been still watching Abbott Elementary. It's been not too bad. It wasn't on Global. We didn't get to watch it live. We'll have to watch it tonight on one of the streaming services that have it. I think it's Disney Plus or something. I don't know. Anyways, we also watched a new TV show. And the reason why I'm stuttering is I can't remember what I think it's called Paradise. It is a very good TV show so far. We just watched the first episode, and it is totally not what you expected. I can't really give away much of it. It's about a Secret Service agent who's taking care of an ex-president. That's all I kind of really want to tell you, because it is super good. It is super good so far, anyways. And it's lots of different twists and turns and everything else like that. Okay, let's go to the disputed area. Okay, I don't have anything. What about this today? Although I did have last week. This week I couldn't really think of anything. What about this? My disputed area. Okay, hazard lights should only be used when you're in an emergency. Like, hazard lights on your car shouldn't tell me you're doing something stupid. Okay, because lately that's what it is. People are in the middle of the road waiting for, like, picking someone up, like, in the middle of the road, and they put the hazard light on. It's supposedly that hazard lights are supposed to make me aware that you're doing something. Like, no, hazard lights should be used when you're on the highway changing a tire, or you break down in the middle of the street or whatever. Those are emergencies. This is just being dumb. And it really frustrates me because it's backed up everything. And if I went and talked to the person, hey, you know what's up? They would give me the excuse. I know they would give me the excuse. Hey, be quiet. I put on my hazards. Like, I should just park like in the middle of an intersection and just put on my hazards and just stay there for a while and just see what happens. Like, it's just ridiculous. Please, especially in this weather, only use your hazard lights for an emergency. So when I see the hazard lights, I'm saying, oh, crap, I should get out of my car and help this person. Instead, you're just waiting for someone to get out of their house, and I can't pass you or anything else like this. But don't worry, you have your hazard lights on. Ugh. Does this ever happen to you? If it has, please use our 1-844 number to get a hold of us. That's 1-844-340-5001. My inconsequential hot take, it kind of comes to this reading part, is this. Let's make physical newspapers great again. Okay? I want my physical newspaper. And now physical newspapers are almost an elite sort of thing. I can't get a home delivery of the Globe and Mail or the National Post here in Moose Jaw, right? Like, and they call them national newspapers, and I can't even receive them. You know, I have to do it digitally or whatever. And I do it, as you know, with those articles, but I really dislike digital newspapers. Now, digital newspapers are all right if I want to have a newspaper from, let's say, you know, Hong Kong, China, Indonesia, parts of Africa, Western Europe, whatever, right? The United States. That's good for that stuff, so I can gather some stuff. But I want some local news, and local news is hard to find, man. In Moose Jaw, it's a desert. It is a news desert here, basically. Unless you want to know, like, anyways, I won't get into that. But I need to have a physical newspaper again. A good, it doesn't even have to be good. I just want a physical newspaper, because I don't think the Globe and Mail or the National Post are particularly good newspapers. But I would subscribe to the daily newspaper coming to my door. I'd love that. Love that in the morning, have a coffee and read a newspaper. I know that sounds really cliche or idyllic or whatever. I don't care. That's what I would love. Anyways, today I should just buy a newspaper. I don't know. I'll go to the 7-Eleven or Max or whatever. Oh, they're called Circle K's now. Anyways, let's make news great again. Like let's make like I don't want to be my own editor, and I'm really getting sort of distasteful for all this partisan news outlets and stuff like this. And fine, yeah, it has to be some sort of bent, and I get all this and blah blah blah. But like, can't we just strive to have an editorial staff that's just trying to, in some very broken way, give me the news instead of trying to defend one position or another? I don't know. Let's make news great again. And I don't want to be the cipher of all that. I need the professionals to do that. Yes, I'm pro professionals. I know, crazy, right? Because there's no trust, though. I don't trust them either. I would like to trust my professionals. I would like to trust my news people and stuff like this, but I don't. But that's a bad thing. That's not a good thing. Anyways, I'll leave it there. If you do have any questions, comments, concerns, please leave me an email or phone me at 1-844-3405-001. At 7 o'clock, we will start the Divine Mercy Chaplet. I hope you stay for that. Until next time, God bless. Have a great day. Keep it crispy, militator tots. Bye. Or I'll see you in about, I don't know what time is it right now. I'll see you in about 15 minutes. Bye.